Karen Owen, Transportation Planning Manager for the City of Longview. I represent the Longview Metropolitan Planning Organization, which is a multi-agency group responsible for transportation planning in the greater Longview area. The planning area includes the cities of Longview, White Oak, Gladewater, portions of Harrison, Gregg, and Upshur counties. And it includes cooperative planning with Longview Transit, the Texas Department of Transportation, and the Federal Highway Administration. The 2019 to 2020 Transportation Improvement Program is the short-term transportation plan that identifies federal and state-funded highways, bridges, as well as Longview Transit public transportation projects to be constructed or implemented over the next 4 years. Looking ahead for the next 4 years, we have two significant mobility projects, FM 2206 and 2275. The widening of 2206 from 2 to 4 lanes has been a priority project in the long-range plan and was identified as a priority as far back as the 1994 Metropolitan Transportation Plan. FM 2206 is also identified in the Thoroughfare Plan and Comprehensive Plan. The first phase of widening 2206 from the Loop to Fisher Road is set to go to construction in 2019. Funding for this project will come from several sources. Current estimates are federal $17.9 million, state $4.5 million, for a total of roughly $22.4 million. The map on your slide does a great job of identifying the connection points of major roadways. FM 2206 is an important east-west arterial that provides a direct link between West Loop 281 traffic and State Highway 42, a primary connector to Interstate 20. The entire section of West Loop 281 south of US 80 is a critical freight corridor linking the West Industrial District to this principal arterial in and out of the Longview area. Traffic on 2206 is presently at capacity or it exceeds capacity. However, a significant portion of this is heavy truck traffic. Future traffic volumes are projected to have roughly 11,000 vehicles per day. A two-lane roadway can't handle this type of volume of vehicles, plus the heavy truck traffic. The widening of 2206 will greatly improve freight mobility in and out of the Longview area and for commercial businesses and manufacturers on Harrison and Fisher roads. Phase 1 of Harrison Road will have 5-foot sidewalks on one side and an extra wide 10-foot side paths for bicyclists and pedestrians to serve the residential areas in the vicinity. The second phase of 2206 is scheduled to go to construction in 2020. This project's limits are from Fisher Road to State Highway 42. And funding from this project will come from several sources. They are federal, $12.9 million, state, $3.2 million, for a total project cost of $16.1 million. The widening of 2206 will transform a 2-lane open ditch road into a new 4-lane roadway with a center turn lane for safer turning movements. The widening of George Richey Road to 4 lanes between State Highway 300 and Pine Tree Road is scheduled to go to construction in 2021. George Richey is being designed and it'll have a combination of sidewalks, a side path, and bike lanes for pedestrians and bicyclists. This project has a total cost of $14.9 million. The second phase of George Richey Road is set for 2022 and will widen it from 2 to 4 lanes with a center turn lane and have the extra wide 10-foot side path for pedestrians and bicyclists. Funding is $11.8 million federal, $2.9 million state, for a total of $14.8 million. In the past 2 years, there have been 2 public meetings to gain public input and to share with the public the preliminary plans and just share information with the public about George Richey. There was one in 2016 and also one in 2017. The final alignment of this project has not been determined. However, TxDOT will be holding a 3rd public meeting sometime this summer to present the recommended alignment and gain public input. That brings me to US 271. As shown in red on this map, it's set to be widened from 2 to 4 lanes, from the Smith-Gregg County line to Loop 485 in South Gladewater in the year 2022. This segment is roughly 2 miles in length, and for federal dollars, it's roughly $23.4 million, state 5.8, for a total of $29.3 million. If anyone's interested, the preliminary plans and project details of these projects that I've been speaking of and other projects can be viewed on the web. TxDOT has created a website called Project Tracker as part of their universal website, and essentially it's a gateway to information about more than roughly 11,000 statewide projects. So on the website, you can get a wealth of information. You can get the project overview, details, schedule, interactive maps, and schedule schematics and alternatives. You can go to txdot.gov and search for Project Tracker, or really quite simply, if you'll Google the highway name, for example, FM 2206, Project Tracker, you'll quickly go to the link to find the project information. Next are bicycle and pedestrian projects. In FY19, the City of Longview, in 18, the City of Longview applied and received an award of $3.28 million for 2 off-road shared use paths for pedestrians, runners, and bicyclists. The local contribution is $3.28 million, and this project will complete 2 gaps in the Guthrie Creek Trail system, and it's shown in blue on this map. The concrete paths will be roughly 12 feet wide and include 5 pedestrian bridges over creeks, crosswalks. There'll be warning signs at roadway crossings, as well as pedestrian underpasses at Judson and McCann Road. The solid black line on the map shows the 4 existing trails, and the dashed line is the segment that's under construction. The blue Guthrie Trail segments will fill in the gaps and ultimately provide the city with a continuous trail system of 10 miles. Also in 2019 is the White Oak Sidewalk Project. The City of White Oak applied for and received an award of $712,000 to construct about 1 mile of sidewalks on the east side of White Oak Road between Bermuda Drive and Center Street. The local contribution by the City of White Oak is roughly $164,000. The project will be funded through TxDOT's Curb, Ramp, and Pedestrian Improvement Project program in 2019. This important pedestrian and bicycle link will connect White Oak to its neighborhoods, connect the neighborhoods to the schools, while encouraging walking and bicycling. Next I'm going to come to is a list of grouped highway projects. These projects are in our 4-year plan, and I'll just basically go through them fairly quickly. These are Interstate 20, the frontage road between Loop 281 to the Gray County line. The south frontage road will be undergoing some rehabilitation at a cost of about $1.8 million. In White Oak, on White Oak Road, between 80 and 2275, that road will be resurfaced and repaired at a cost of about $3 million. On South High Street, at the South High Street Railroad Bridge at the Union Pacific Railroad, that project will be to replace that bridge structure and approaches. On Interstate 20 at MLK Boulevard, at Estes Parkway, and also at Lansing Switch Road, those Interstate 20 bridges will be replaced. The next section of the TIP is what we call Appendix D. These are projects undergoing environmental assessment. And what this allows is for environmental review and some project development by TxDOT to occur, and it facilitates the projects that will be developed for projects beyond the year 2022. So our TIP is 2019 to 2022. These projects that will likely go to construction outside of that 4-year window, but by listing them in the TIP, it allows TxDOT to develop these projects and move forward with them. We've got some exciting projects and some very large projects in this area. They are Interstate 20 at State Highway 31 to improve the interchange there. On State Highway 42, between the interstate and US 80, we're looking at widening State Highway 42 from 2 to 4 lanes. Loop 485 in Gladewater, between US 271 and South Gladewater, northerly up to US 80 and East Gladewater, we're looking at widening that from 2 to 4 lanes as well. Another section of Loop 485, there's a section of it between 80 and East Gladewater going northerly to US 271 and North Gladewater. Currently, it's not a divided roadway, but we're looking at adding a center turn lane. On US 271, more work in Gladewater, between Loop 485 to the Upshur County line, that project is being looked at to widen it from 2 to 4 lanes. And also on 271, between George Richey to State Highway 300, all the way up in Gladewater, in Gilmer, looking at widening that 4-lane undivided highway to a 4-lane divided by putting a flush median or some type of median, additional lane in the middle of the roadway. So you can see there's quite a few projects that are being developed in our area. That brings me to public transportation. Public transportation is an important part of the 4-year plan. Longview Transit offers a fixed route bus program, and the hours of service are Monday through Friday between 6:15 and 7:15 p.m., and on Saturdays from 7:15 in the morning to 7:15 in the evening. Bus fares are $1.25 for a one-ride ticket, and a $3 is the cost for an all-day pass. And they also have a monthly pass at a cost of $40. The annual planning, operating, and capital expenses of Longview Transit are federal funding, roughly $1.2 million, state, $370,000, and city funds of roughly $125,000 on average. In addition to the fixed route buses, Longview Transit also offers a paratransit program to citizens who are unable to ride the fixed route buses. Longview Transit was awarded $108,000 for the purchase of 2 vehicles for paratransit, and those purchases do not require a local cash match. They will be ordered in 2019, and just recently Longview Transit staff applied for a 3rd transit vehicle, and we're hoping that award will happen. These vehicles will replace aging equipment that are roughly 10 years old. Last year, Scott Lewis with Longview Transit applied for and was awarded an intercity bus grant from TxDOT for improvements to the transportation center. This award is for roughly $1 million to build a bus transfer center on the east side of the transit building with a local match of roughly $108,000. It includes a bus terminal, a bus concourse, and extra parking. Construction is expected to begin next year. On June 21st, Longview Transit joins other transit systems across the country to celebrate National Dump the Pump Day. Longview Transit will be offering free rides all day long. So I encourage everyone to come out and enjoy the trip. Our goal is for new riders to see what Longview Transit's like and give them a travel option that can save them some money. If you've never tried Longview Transit, I encourage you to get on board and ride the bus. A public comment and review period starts today and it runs through May 11th, and we welcome your comments. You can mail your comments in if you'd like. You can send them via email, or you can give us a call. The Longview MPO Policy Board will consider approval of this transportation plan on May 23rd at 10 o'clock in the Longview City Council chamber. If you're viewing this presentation on TV or online, the draft transportation document is available at longviewtexas.gov/MPO. In closing, if you'd like to be added to our mailing list for upcoming transportation projects and meetings, please see me after the meeting or contact the MPO by email or phone, and we'll get you added to the list. So that concludes my presentation. Are there any questions or comments from the audience? All right. Well, thank you for your attendance and for your interest in transportation.